Kia ora e te iwi and welcome to The Chew. Coming at you from the Pūrākau studio here in Te Atamira, Queenstown, New Zealand. Ko Arrowtown Dad tēnei, and today we are re-chewing the fat with Brendan McIntosh from Kaha Chemist. Kia ora, Brendan.
Kia ora.
Good to see you again. Welcome back to the Chew, and what we'll do for starters is I'll get you to introduce yourself, and then we'll talk a little bit about where you grew up.
Kia ora. O ko Hikararo te mauka, ko Waikawairi te awa, ko Arai te uru te waka, ko Kati Huirapa ki Puki te raki, rawa ko te rau aroha oku marae, ko Kaitahu te iwi, ko Brendan taku ikua.
Kia ora.
No Otipoti ahau, I kare ke te noho au ki Tāhuna, Paradise.
Paradise. It is paradise indeed. So you're listening to your pepeha, you're from Waikawaiti. Is that the correct pronunciation?
Yeah, that's that's just north of where I grew up.
Right.
That's where our marae is out in Kiratane.
Right.
But then also whakapapa to Te Rau Aroha, down in Bluff,
well.
which I just found out earlier this year. So
oh, really?
Cool. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. You're lucky. That's a fantastic marae. It's a beautiful marae. And so, so you grew up in Dunedin?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did all your schooling in Dunedin?
Yeah. Went to the best school in the country with Richie McCaw.
Oh, wow. Okay. There you go. Oh, it's hard to argue that. Yep.
Yeah. At Targa Boys. So, yeah, I enjoyed my time there.
Yeah.
Working at the canteen and eating lunch.
Yeah, eating lunch. So you did all of your schooling in Dunedin, primary school right through to high school as well?
Yep.
Yep.
So, yeah, Fairfield Primary and Intermediate.
Yep.
Under the shade of Saddle Hill.
Nice.
And then, went to uni at Otago as well.
Wow, okay. Wow. Fully Dunedin, right?
Yeah. Did another 6 years at uni there.
Wow.
I guess there was no other option because when we were 7th form, we used to go down, do laps around the uni area and see all the scarfies having their parties and stuff. So we'd just dream of having a flat down Castle Street and
Castle Street. Yeah. So, did you enjoy life growing up in Dunedin? Was it a good life coming through, as a youngster?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yep.
Grew up on the main road of Fairfield. It used to be State Highway 1 before they built another motorway. But it was a pretty busy road. But we'd walk to school and ride bikes to school. Right? Yeah.
Back in the days when you would walk to school. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, were you raised in a traditional Māori family, would you say?
Definitely not.
No?
It was only when Mum always said that we were Māori and we got Māori in us. The aunties always just say, we got the tits and the lips, but not the pale skin. But it wasn't until sort of when I started high school and I chose Te Reo Māori as one of my subjects.
Wow.
And the Māori teacher there, Brent Matahaere, we're obviously learning Te Reo, and then I said we're Māori, and so he sort of helped me with my whakapapa and connected me back to Kiratane, to Puki te raki. It sort of stemmed from
Fantastic.
that. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And so did that sort of open up the Māori world for you for the first time, did it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. Being in the Te Reo class, and then we also had a whānau class, so instead of your usual form groups that everyone would go to for 10 minutes in the morning, all the Māori students from the whole school would go to the whānau class.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's I've never heard of that before. So from all levels as well, from year 9 right through to 13.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that would just be like a catch up at the start of the day kind of thing.
Yeah.
Was it?
Like usually you'd go to your form class.
Yep.
Your form teacher would take the roll and give you some notices or stuff. But yeah, we'd go to the whānau class and catch up with, and it's cool because you had like these older boys in your class who you looked up to, and got to get to know them on a personal level. And
cool. So I understand you also played a bit of rugby as well.
Yeah, tried to. Well, yeah, sort of. I was probably on a path to become an All Black, I think.
Really? Nice.
I made the Otago under 14s.
Yeah.
But then just the week before, because we were playing in the under 15 grade.
Yeah.
But we were only like 13.
Right.
And so we're up like against Kaika Valley College. They're like fully grown men.
Yeah. Right.
And I broke my leg, and like a week before we were about to start playing for Otago.
Right.
So that was a bit of a dagger, and sort of never really been back since.
Never recovered from the break.
Yeah, so it took ages to heal, and I got this special cast that held my knee up so I could walk around on it.
Right.
And then it sort of just re-broke again when I was playing basketball.
Oh, wow.
A few months later, so I was in a cast for like over a year probably.
Sheesh.
So then I sort of had to think about what else can I do if I'm not going to be an All Black.
Yeah, right. So was it a hard decision to give up rugby at that point, or was it sort of an obvious decision given how hard the rehab was?
Yeah, well, it was pretty obvious. Like I'd kept playing, but like obviously, like Otago Boys is a pretty strong rugby school. And,
yeah.
Everyone else was like way better than me, so that sort of put a damper on things.
Yeah.
I continued to play basketball as well, and managed to get one game for the firsts.
Wow, really?
For basketball.
Nice one.
Claim to fame. And I think that's just because the coach was Brent Matahaere, so I think he just felt sorry for me, threw me in a game at the end of the season. So.
Oh, good one. So at the time you were at high school, did you have any like top line? Were you at school with any guys that ended up being top line rugby players?
Well, yeah, there was in my grade there was Craig Miller, he was a prop, but not like no one in the school was. You'd be like, oh, he's going to go all the way, but he just kept pushing away, and
really,
I think props obviously flourish later on in their careers, and so he made the Highlanders when he was like late 20s, I think.
Right.
And then went on to he just played for Japan in the World Cup.
Oh, wow. Fantastic.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then Hayden Parker.
Oh, yeah. Hayden Parker.
Yeah, Quasi. He was a flanker actually for us.
Right. Because I think he ended up in the centres, did he?
First five.
First five. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he was a hostel boy, and he'd have a rugby ball with him.
Right.
Every day, like take it to class, and then lunch times after school he'd just be kicking goals.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, why is this flanker kicking goals? But then obviously he didn't really grow that much, so
right.
It was an easy transition for him to go to
first five.
First five, and he ended up obviously being the man for the Highlanders, and then went and played for I think it was Toyota in Japan.
Right. Wow.
And he got 100% goal kicking for the whole season.
100%.
Yeah, for a whole season. So like everyone in Japan loves him.
It must have been under the post.
Yeah.
Must have been right out in front every time. No, just kidding. Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool to see. Like, obviously he was really committed from day one. You wouldn't see him without the rugby ball. And to see where he got to, that's pretty cool.
Right. And so, once you found the Māori world, I suppose, and how old were you? I guess you were in year 9 or around 14 when you first made the decision to learn Te Reo Māori?
Yeah.
And how far through did you follow your Te Reo journey at high school?
I got to level 1 NCEA.
Okay.
But then after that, it was just a wee bit too hard. Also, from level 2, you're sort of thinking about university, and
right.
By that time, my mate had convinced me that I was going to be a doctor, so I started taking all the science subjects and things like that. So,
right.
Just level 1 NCEA was it until first year uni. There was an option to do a Te Reo paper as well.
Okay.
And that was actually best grade I ever got out of all my uni papers. So,
really?
Yeah.
Why is that, do you think? Was it just was the level quite easy, or was something similar to what you did in school?
It was pretty like basic. I think it was more as a first year paper. I think it was mainly for like international students coming in and learning about Māori culture,
right,
and the language. So
right.
It was pretty basic, like essays and things like that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And so now we'll sort of talk about how you ended up in Queenstown. So what was the decision that made you move to Queenstown? Was it sort of like a planned thing, or was it accidental?
Yeah, never in my plans to be here. It was, so I went and did my internship in Greymouth after uni.
Yeah.
And then moved to Christchurch, and I was pretty set in Christchurch. I was there for about 7 years.
Right.
But it wasn't until we were at a mate's 30th birthday, and this beautiful woman came along at the party, and I was mates with her because we went all through high school together.
Oh, okay.
She's
cool.
one of the Columba girls that we always hung out with.
Right.
And then, we sort of rekindled at this 30th, and she's a local Queenstown girl, so she was sort of saying like, putting the pressure on
to follow you down.
I had like a business and everything in Christchurch, and going well. So but sort of love took over and made the move down here.
Oh, fair enough too.
Yeah.
So was it hard leaving your business in Christchurch, and did you actually bring the same business here, or was it like a restart when you got here?
Yeah, so I guess I had a couple of things going on. I had the hemp company, the Brothers Green and Kawaka, and I mean it was going really well, and we sort of set it up as obviously a business as something that works so you don't have to. Right. Just learned that quote the other day.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and so I was like, I can easily move to Queenstown and keep running the business.
Yeah.
Because I had a business partner there as well.
Right.
And he was sort of all over everything, and we had about 12 staff. And so everything was sort of going swimmingly, but obviously moving down here and then taking on 2 kids, I didn't really expect how hard that was going to be. And so sort of I just had less and less involvement, but it was still pushing along. But then obviously COVID sort of changed the path of the business a bit. We were able to hold on to our staff all through that period because of the government funding, but then when that dried up, you still couldn't. Business wasn't really at a point where we could maintain everyone. So we had to let everyone go. Wow. Unfortunately, but I mean they're all obviously very talented people, and they've all gone off and got epic roles now and started their own businesses and everything as well. So
okay.
Yeah. When we still keep in touch, and and everyone's still shareholders in the Brothers Green as well. So everyone's still a part of it in some aspect. So
that's great. So that was what were the names of were there 2 companies or just the one company?
Yeah, there's the Brothers Green, which is hemp food products,
Right.
but now it's sort of transitioned into dietary supplements.
Okay.
And then Koaka is skincare.
Right. And both of those company entities are still running?
Yeah.
Wow, great.
Which is, we've seen probably hundreds of businesses sort of closed down over COVID, and all these awesome businesses that I follow on Facebook and Instagram and look like they're doing amazing things, and then next minute they're like, oh, we're closing for good.
Wow.
That's probably a big testament to Brad, my business partner out there, just grinding away for the last sort of 5 years to keep it all going, and now it's starting to pick back up again. So.
Okay. And are you still actively involved in both companies?
Yep. Not heaps though, more around like creating content or like writing blogs and stuff around the benefits of hemp, and bit of strategy, bit of sales here and there. Going around pharmacies and trying to get our products on their shelves and things like that.
Great. So we'll talk a little bit about your own company, Kaha Chemist. So how did that start? And we'll talk a little bit about sort of where you are at the moment as well.
Yeah, so that was, when I moved to Christchurch, and I worked for a naturopathic pharmacist.
Right.
And he made me go and do some post-grad training on nutritional environmental medicine. And so that sort of opened up my eyes to supplements and the importance of nutrition and vitamins and minerals that a lot of us are lacking due to them not being in the soils, and therefore it's not in our food. So it sort of blew my mind after studying pharmacy for 5 or 6 years and all the pharmaceuticals, but then now realising actually maybe we don't need all of these Western medicines if we just have some supplements and get our diets right and things like that.
Right.
And then I sort of, I guess I've had just done a summer research looking at the prescription charges. So I was going around whānau, around Maitakiwa, around North Otago and Dunedin, and then I was interviewing whānau about their experiences of when the prescription charges went from $3 per item up to $5 per item. And if some of the stories sort of just hit home, like the weeks they need to get their medicines, they just won't buy food, or they won't get their medicines because they need to eat. And I was just, that sort of blew my mind, because I mean at uni you learn about there's like a Māori health module, and they're like, these are the Māori statistics, and you see that on paper and things like that, but to actually see it in front of you, and I mean I thought we weren't that well off growing up. Mum and Dad split up when I was like 10, and going into wins with them every week and sorting that sort of stuff out. But I guess we're probably lucky because none of us were sick or had that on top of it as well. So then to see our own whānau dealing with that, it sort of always stuck with me for everything I do. And so in Christchurch I started reaching out to the community up there, and went along to Rehua Marae up to Tuahiwi. They've got Healthy Day at the Pā up there that Dame Aroha used to run. And she sort of took me under her wing, and would go out for coffees and talk about the Māori community around Otautahi and how using my pharmacist skills can help. And there was no one really knew what a pharmacist was, or
I bet. Yeah.
or could do. So
Yeah.
I was working right in Cashel Mall at the time.
Okay.
And my boss let me go to the marae once a week to Rehua. They had a kaumātua group there. And I'd go there, give talks, do medication reviews, and just connecting with the kaumātua. And that did that like 6 weeks in a row, and then sort of the pharmacy got busy, and the boss was expecting all the kaumātua to bring their medicines along, so drumming up business, but that sort of didn't happen.
Yeah.
And so slowly I wasn't able to go there again.
Right.
But then I found myself on with Te Pūtahitanga, did I guess a wānaka. We went away down to Lake Pukaki and stopped in Temuka.
Yep.
And it was mainly like personal trainers and fitness instructors that were on this wānaka, and on there I was just going along because they were doing like maurako and wakaama, and
Oh, yeah.
so I was just going away for a bit of an experience.
Yeah, right. Get amongst it with that sort of multicultural stuff. But then you ended up sort of getting focused.
On that, they one of the contracts advisors like, oh, we've got like 10 FTE to support Navigator Tinana, so people helping whānau with physical activity.
Yeah.
And so you just go stand up. We're around the campfire, and you just go stand up and say what you do and why you should get one of these FTE funding, and everyone was like doing amazing stuff. There was like Jay Puki Puki from Burris for Change saying his story, and I was like, shit, these guys are like superstars. And then so I just stood up and I was like, oh, I said I'm a pharmacist, and I have been going to the marae and helping kaumātua with their medicines and talking about nutrition and supplements. And I think that the fact about talking about vitamins and minerals for people with chronic disease was what stood out for this contract advisor. And yeah, she gave me half an FTE.
Wow.
Which was pretty cool. So then, I was able to stop working at the pharmacy full time and go around. I started building relationships with Rapaki.
Wow.
And then getting into the Māori caucus at the DHB. And
wow.
And it's, I guess, that's sort of how Kaha Chemist came about, was to get this FTE, I had to create a company.
Right. So, did you say STE?
FTE. So
FTE, like full-time employee.
Yeah.
Right.
That was just how they did their contracts.
Right, of course. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep. That's how a lot of funding models work.
Yeah.
Based off FTEs, yeah.
But in order to get that, I needed a company. So,
yep.
Yeah, Kaha Chemist was born.
Wow.
I was sort of, thought on the name for ages, talked to the other Māori health providers in the area, like, what do you think about this? And then, just ran with it.
Well, it so obviously links two things together, right? The whole pharmacy piece and the Māori piece to it. So it makes it really obvious what you stand for and what you do. So, and it's, I mean, everybody that within the Māori community in Queenstown all know Kia Kaha Chemist, and more importantly, we know Brendan, right? So, your brand name works for sure.
Yeah, no.
Absolutely. So that was all born in Christchurch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where it all sort of materialised, did it?
Yeah.
Right.
So I was doing that I got four more contracts.
Right.
So they kept rolling over for 4 more years.
Mm-hmm.
And then
4 more. Wow. Still at half an FTE?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Which was, that was enough.
Yeah, for sure.
And then when I moved here, I went for the next one, and then didn't get it.
Was that because you moved out of the district?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Even I don't know. Even though I said, like, I still cover the South Island and...
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, I mean, what I've seen now after living here for 4 years is, as soon as funders see the word Queenstown, they think, oh, very affluent area, and
there's no
we
need
can't be
to
seen
fund
to be
people.
funding them.
Yeah.
So the rest of the country.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a bit of a damper, but that's
harsh.
Yeah.
Because there are people in need here.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a lot of families in need here. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And so, I sort of just forgot about it for a bit.
Yeah.
And focused on the Brothers Green and Koaka.
Okay.
From here, but then about a year into moving here, I got introduced to Debbie.
Yes.
Iwi,
Yep.
and learned that she was a nurse and does cool things with the Māori community. So I went and introduced myself, and then she's like, "Oh, come around home." See, at that time she was working out of her house.
Yeah, that's right.
So we had all these nursing clinics and stuff, and so I went around there and into this wee room in the house, and she's like, "You can sit in here one afternoon a week, and we'll get the whānau to come in and talk to you."
Nice.
So yeah, that was sort of kicked things back off again.
Yep.
For Kaha Chemist.
Yep.
I don't think I was getting paid, but it was just cool to meet people.
Yeah, right,
Yes.
right.
And then that was when the sort of all the vaccines started coming out, and so then that was what really got me involved in the Tahuna community, was being able to help with that. And when it first came out, Debbie was able to get a contract sort of overnight that she'd been working on for ages. Then finally they're like, "Yeah, here's a contract," and then boom, there were 27 employees.
Wow.
Like 99% Māori.
Yeah.
I think we were the biggest employer of Māori in Queenstown.
Wow.
For a bit there.
And that did that coincide, well, was that the reason why they shifted to the building in Glenda Drive?
Yeah,
Engage Safety.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, obviously from her house to then we got a couple of camper vans and did a drive-through at the event centre. And then use those camper vans to go all around the region.
Yeah.
Down to Kingston, Glenorchy, over to Wanaka.
And this was a community initiative, right? Not focused purely on Māori health, but a community health.
So that was for everyone.
Yeah.
But it was just awesome that all the kaimahi and all my colleagues were all these Māori who live here that I didn't even know. So that was like awesome, and just in that time everyone was like getting on with each other and connecting, and everyone was loving it.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
So I just have one question, and I'm hoping you can answer this simply. I know it's probably not going to be that easy, but how would you describe what a pharmacist is, in the shortest way possible, if it's at all possible?
Yeah, so a pharmacist is a medication expert.
Okay.
I guess they know what a medicine, how medicine works in your body.
Right.
And what it's treating and what dosage, what side effects to expect.
Right.
And then we're knowledgeable around interactions. So some people are on like 2 or 3 medicines, some even up to 10 medicines.
Yeah.
And they all interact with each other. So a pharmacist's job is to make sure that they're doing their job and they're not interacting, and what side effects to look out for.
Right. Thank you.
Also, yeah.
Nice.
There's also a role, I guess, like increasing access to medicines and quality use of medicines, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so would a pharmacist also typically not just focus on, I'll call it big pharma medicine, but also, natural medicines or, the non-standard medicines? Does typically every pharmacist sort of know both of those sides?
That's not in our training at uni.
Right.
There might be one lecture on herbal medicines.
Right.
But it's up to the individual pharmacist to go away and, if that's what they're interested in, go and learn about it.
Okay.
I think more the community pharmacists are a bit more knowledgeable on that side of things, because they're obviously selling vitamins and minerals in the shop.
Right.
Whether they get their training from a reputable source or from the company reps, another story. But I think most pharmacists will have a baseline knowledge of what they're selling in their store.
Okay.
And it is all just the basic vitamin C, zinc, fish oils, what they do and how to take them.
Yeah. Great. So how is your Kia Kaha business going at the moment, and what are your plans for the future with it as well?
Yeah, so I guess because there's been no funding for me to be able to push on with it, I've been in contact with Well South, which is a primary health organisation.
Yep.
They had a pharmacist based at Queenstown Medical Centre, and I'd had a few conversations with her, and then she put me in contact with the pharmacy boss at Well South, and this was all through COVID, and there was nothing really happening. And then I had a conversation with her sort of middle of last year, and she said, there could be some roles coming up. Why don't you write what you want to do?
Yep.
And so I wrote up a job description of basically what Kaha Chemist was doing in Christchurch.
Yep.
And how I would do that down here, and wrote this full job description, how I'd cover the whole Otago Southland region and improving Māori health outcomes. And then a few weeks later she's like, we've got a job advert up online.
Cool.
And it was like pretty much what I'd said. So I was like, this is a pretty cool role. But they had two roles. One was doing that for Māori, and then there was a Pacific one.
Right.
So they were looking for someone to do the same thing, but with the Pacific community. And so as a primary health organisation, there's no other organisation in the country with roles like that are equity focused and mobile. Mm-hmm. So that was, so I sort of said, okay, I'll do this role, and obviously it's a way to get paid,
to keep getting paid,
and doing what needs to be done in the community.
Oh, okay.
So I'm working for them now.
Nice.
Have
nice
been
one.
Since Christmas last year.
Right. Well South. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And does that mean, the work that you do directly through Kia Kaha Chemist has sort of been put on hold in the meantime? Yeah,
although I still get, there's still whānau come to me for like nutritional medicine consults and things like that up at the Glenda Drive office.
Yeah.
And so, that's still what Kia Kaha, so the role with Well South, it's sort of a bit of a blurred line around when I start talking to people about supplements and vitamins and minerals.
Right.
But in saying that, we've just got a new clinical advisor, Māori, at Well South, and I've told her what I do with the supplements and vitamins and minerals, and she's pretty excited and thinks there could be a project there where, because I've been just supplying like magnesium powders and vitamin C and zinc to whānau who I know need it because they're on certain medicines.
Yeah.
And because you can't prescribe these, so they're quite expensive.
Right.
So I've just been supplying them through Kaha Chemist, and and then so now this clinical advisor thinks there could be a project where we may be able to get some funding to actually do it.
Great.
At scale.
Nice. What, just within the Queenstown Lakes region?
I think the whole Otago Southland.
Right.
But I'm not holding my breath on that. I'll sooner learning the intricacies of a big organisation with a lot of bureaucracy and
the wheels turn pretty slow, eh? Yeah.
So in the meantime, I'm collaborating with a rongoa, a tohunga up in Auckland, who I guess thanks to KUMA meeting Julian Noel.
Right.
So he sort of come along. Well, I met him at a KUMA event.
Yep.
And he saw the Brothers Green and the Koaka websites and thought they were amazing. And he's like, I'm a business coach. I was like, sweet, give me some coaching. And he sort of turned into more of a life coach.
Right.
And then he's like, well, we've got Roy Mata up in Auckland who makes soaps, but we're keen to collaborate with you around vitamins and minerals and supplements that we can be doing using our native New Zealand plants as well.
Right.
So we're working on forming a bit of a business there that so Roy Mata's got all the contacts with all the whānau that grow the plants.
Yep.
So creating I guess a pathway for them to sell what they grow and harvest and get a bit of income for their communities. We make the products, and then a portion of the sales of the products come into we'll say Kaha Chemist or any so then I can supply these products to whānau who need them.
Right. Okay.
So that's exciting.
So now this interview is actually a collaboration with KUMA, the Southern Māori Business Network. So you've already touched on the fact that you met Julian through KUMA already, and so you've got that help with business mentoring, life mentoring, and so have you had any other engagements with KUMA on other things?
Yeah, heaps. I mean, the monthly hui that we have with all Māori businesses around Queenstown is they're cool because you get to go into a business will host us, and then they'll tell us what they do, and then and everyone's doing whanaukataka and sharing kai and just having fun and talking business, which is pretty cool.
Nice one.
And there's actually heaps of Māori businesses around here.
There are. Yeah. It's quite amazing how many there are.
Yeah.
You know, there's so well. The idea is there's so few Māori here in Queenstown, but you know when you scratch under the surface, there's plenty of us here.
Yeah.
We're not all swinging poise in the main street. So. It's that's good to know, and so you've managed to connect with quite a bit of the whānau.
Yeah,
and, both at a business level and at a personal level. Yeah,
definitely. Like, I guess it was Mel Wright who first got me into KUMA and said, "Come along," to my first one, and then meeting the Rapata girls.
Yeah,
who are just so committed.
They are, aren't they?
To it and pretty inspiring.
Yes. Camilla, Maria, big shout out.
Yeah. And then, just everyone in that group, meeting Julian.
Yep.
And then more recently, Nathan Keel.
Yeah.
Come onto the scene.
Yes. Yeah. I had a chat with Nathan.
Nice.
Fantastically interesting guy. Really high corporate achiever as well.
Yeah.
So great chat. There's some fantastic Māori business people in town and doing great things for the community, like yourself. And so, just want to touch quickly on your experience at the recent KUMA Business Awards.
Yes.
So I understand you attended that award. Well, you were nominated. Just tell us about your experience at the awards and any sort of positive takeaways that you have from that night.
Yeah, it was a cool night here at Te Atamira actually, and I don't know if it was planned or not, but the local schools and preschools around here had just been doing sort of Toi Māori.
That's right.
Expeditions.
They had an exhibition here at Te Atamira just before that.
Yeah. And so my boys go to Punuaku or Tahuna.
Yeah, right.
And they created this po.
Yep.
And so coming in here and there's all these flashlights and everything, and then here was Nico and Mana's po.
Wow.
Sitting there with their handprints and
fantastic.
all that. And then Sebastian and Penelope were at Arrowtown School, and they had their pieces there.
Yeah. Arrowtown School got a lot of prizes in that. I remember turning up to that little prize giving.
Oh yeah.
And
so having all of that, and then you walk through and there's all these flash tables.
Yeah.
And bottles of wine on the tables, and then all these flash Māori dressed up to the nines. You had your bow tie on.
I know, I had a bow tie. I took it off after a while. It just wasn't comfortable at all.
And just seeing, I guess, the calibre of the businesses that were there as well. And doing cool things in the community and beyond.
Yeah, so you were you were actually nominated in two awards. You were highly commended in the Tohu Tangata Tiriti Award, and you were also a finalist in He Tohu Manakitanga, the Customer Excellence Award. So, how does it feel to get that recognition through nomination as a great Māori business in this region?
Yeah, pretty good. I guess we had the finalists evening the night before. Where we all got certificates, and even being in that room was pretty inspiring. And who was in there, and then and then listening to all the winners that got up before me and their speeches, and it was pretty inspiring. Was the main thing.
It is.
And then to then hear my name get called out, then thinking I've got to do a speech and things like that. Like definitely didn't prepare for that. I was just happy to be there for the dinner and support the whānau, but then having to get up, I don't know. It was pretty surreal. Standing up there. I don't know. It's cool. I guess like the Manakitanga, I guess I probably had a bit of advantage because I'm a free service. So
right.
People love that straight away.
Good point.
Yeah, but then obviously that sort of, I guess that's what you do, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
Do what you can to help who's in front of you.
Yeah. And I suppose, you have to work harder. Let's be honest. You have to work harder because you're offering a free service. So you don't have that financial backing. Maybe it's harder to grow. It's harder to market. So, while we all love free services, I think it's important to recognise how hard you have to work, especially because you're offering something for free.
True.
Yeah. So
all the behind the scenes of funding applications and all that to keep it going, But so no, fantastic. I mean, you're obviously well regarded in the community, especially with all your health advice that you're bringing to the table. It's do you find in the health sector, especially around pharmacy, being a pharmacist, that are there many Māori in that space at all? Do you think? Not in the pharmacy space.
No.
We're about 2% of the workforce.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
2%.
I think might be about 150 Māori pharmacists across the country.
Okay.
So I mean, there's, and I think that's the same across all health professions.
Right.
The doctors there's getting more and more Māori doctors.
Yeah.
Which is good. The nurses have a good program too.
Yeah.
But we're still ticking away.
Yeah.
Because there's so few Māori pharmacists, we're sort of always getting pulled onto different boards and advising the pharmacy council and advising
on
the
cultural
society.
stuff. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Of course.
And so we're working harder.
Yeah.
Even we can't be just pharmacists. We actually
you've got to bring the cultural aspects to it. Do you find that's fair or unfair? I personally, you know, at times I think it's a little unfair because the attitude is, oh, well, don't you just kind of do this stuff anyway? You know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think to a point we, I guess we've got an obligation for our whānau.
Yeah.
We, I mean, I got a entrance scholarship into university and from my iwi, I guess, and so that's, you sort of got an obligation now to, you've got this qualification, but what are you going to do with it? How are you going to help our people?
Yeah, right.
But I know a lot of my colleagues have been on these like national boards with good, like, and the board's probably got good intentions, but then they just don't get listened to, or now they feel like it's just a tick box.
Yeah.
Everyone, even recently, everyone's just feeling like they're a tick box and they're giving up on being on boards and stuff.
You see, that's the risk, right? Because sometimes it's treated with a lot of tokenism, with let's just tick that Māori box and move on, you know. So, a lot of the times that stuff's not genuine.
Yeah.
So, anyway, sort of focusing back on that awards night, you know, given the vibe, I felt the vibe in that room was fantastic. It was a really good night. And what advice would you give to businesses who would maybe consider, you know, being nominated for an awards dinner like that, but maybe they're thinking, well, you know, I don't like dressing up, maybe awards dinners are not for me. Do you have any advice for Māori businesses in particular who might be who would get cold feet about going into that space?
Yeah, definitely, because there's like some pretty cool Māori businesses that weren't there. Yeah. And you know it's because they're a bit whakamā and don't want to be praised. They just get on and do the mahi. Yeah. But yeah, for me, I guess I was pretty much the same until Camilla and Maria was like, you gotta
convinced you that you had to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right. And then but yeah, once you're there, it actually like motivates you a lot more as a Māori business, seeing everyone else who's successful and how they're changing the communities that they work in. Yeah. Pretty cool. Like here, meeting Clinton from Taste Nature. Yeah. And he, like, I'd engaged with him before trying to sell him hemp products in his store a few years earlier. But then to see him at this awards night and Harry's just discovering his whakapapa and how it's come from him creating a community garden out there in Otipoti and getting back to the land and now he's personally getting back to his own roots as well. And so we had a cool conversation and managed to go see him again and get some hemp products in his store now.
Nice. Yes. Good job.
Which was good. And even now, because he's got like he's got about 10 like naturopaths and clinicians there as well. Yeah. So I'm going to go and give a talk on I guess mana enhancing and healthcare interactions with them.
Nice one.
And I'll touch a wee bit on the rokoa and what you can do alongside, I guess, traditional herbs and
fantastic.
So that was a good relationship out of that awards night. Eh?
Yeah. I mean, it was a great place to network. Yeah. And I was just surprised at the number of Māori businesses. It was great to meet people from outside this immediate region, so you know, the wider Dunedin region as well. Yeah. So and Southland. So it was great. It was so well supported, and it just had a great vibe, I think. So even we had a chick Ngahui who's doing epic things. Around the North Otago, Wakawairi. And now, like, following her on Instagram and seeing, like, well, shit, she's into it for her business stuff. So it's like,
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Instagram, I'm Arrowtown Dad, and I'm on Instagram, so feel free to follow me. No, my Instagram is pretty bad. I don't really do Insta. I'm more a TikTok guy. Yeah.
Do you see you got a shout out in the pharmacy magazine?
Yeah. Oh yes, I did. I saw that. I couldn't believe that. Oh wow.
Yeah.
TikTok star or something.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm a star, but yeah, I'm definitely on TikTok for sure. So we're pretty close to wrapping up our chat now. It's been a fantastic talk, and I just have one quick fire question for you.
Yeah.
So if you could go back in time and give some advice to your 18-year-old self, what advice would that be?
I think, don't stress. It's going to be all good.
Good start.
Probably shouldn't have drunk as much as I did in the first year of uni. But then, who knows where I could have been.
Yeah.
If I focused on study a bit more in that first year. But I mean, I'm pretty happy with where I am now. So.
Yeah. That's always important.
Yeah, I wouldn't really change it.
Yeah.
Now I've got a pretty cool life and
living in paradise.
Cruise around the takiwā, talking to whānau. Got a beautiful whānau at home.
Yeah. There you go. Life turned out exactly how you wanted it to in the end.
Yeah.
So, a very important question. If anyone wanted to get in touch with you, what's the easiest way to get in touch?
I'm on Facebook and Instagram, Kaha Chemist.
Kaha Chemist.
Or just kia ora at kiakahachemist.org.nz. Nice
and easy.
It's my email. kiakahachemist.org.nz is the website as well.
Yeah.
I haven't updated it since the mask mandate. I did a blog on that a few years ago. But I'm always meaning to sort of get back into that stuff. And I was at a international pharmacy conference in Brisbane a few months ago, and there was the TikTok pharmacist there.
Oh, okay.
And so he's got about 80,000 followers.
Wow.
I was asking him, what's it like to be TikTok famous and what he does and stuff. And so, I've always...
You should do it. You should do it yourself. There's a space for everybody on TikTok.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm keen to get another app, but it seems to be the one that everyone's on, eh?
Yeah. It's I don't know. I struggle with Instagram. I struggle with Facebook. TikTok just seems to be an easier, quick fix, or quick. You get a quick fix and then you move on. You don't have to... Yeah. You can spend hours on it, though. You've got to be careful, to be fair. So any last comments before we wrap up?
No, just, thanks for having me and hosting these talks.
Yeah, cool.
It's going to be cool for hopefully inspire some of the Māori community.
Yeah.
I've got one. There's one year 12 student who's doing science, who I'm trying to push into doing pharmacy.
Nice.
That sort of reason I entered the awards was to promote pharmacy as a profession and as a cool career.
Great.
So hopefully if there's any rakatahi listening to this, do your sciences and go study pharmacy.
Yes. See, all five of you out there, if any of you are rangatahi and you are interested in being a pharmacist, yes. Nō reira, e te rangatira, e mihi atu nei ki a koe, e te whatukura o Ngai Tahu Ngāti Māmoe Waitaha. Thank you so much for the chat today. Really appreciate it coming in again. And and to you, e te iwi, if you have any questions for Brendan, if you have any comments that you want to make, write them down in the chat box below, and remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time on The Tube. Mā te wā.
Kia ora.